Oh my God, what a day I've had today. A lot of it I was not able to get on video. So much has happened, I cannot even start to describe how excited I am. I think you can probably tell. There is a few downsides though. So anyway, let's start at the beginning. The doctors came in, they were useless. I demanded to see an occupational therapist. The next thing you know, an occupational therapist and a physiotherapist both show up in my room and start talking to me about the plan for the day. The physiotherapist took me to the gym, decided quite quickly that I was able to pivot, transfer, hop on one leg, she called it, between parallel bars, which means you had me going over a step with a walking frame and with the crutches, decided I was completely stable and there was no problem whatsoever. So kind of dismissed me and said, well, that's fine. And I said, well, okay, what about the strength exercises and stuff? Oh, we'll sort that out later. And that was the end of that. Then she came back later and told me that the prosthetic limb centre had asked her to measure me for a shrink sock. So I thought, well, wow, that's moving on fast. So she took all sorts of measurements, diameter, length, and all sorts of things to determine what size of shrinker sock I was going to have. The nurse and the doctors came back and they took the dressings all off. So my leg now no longer looks like a Q-tip, and the leg itself is actually looking pretty amazing. Almost healed, not quite, but it's just got an ordinary dressing on now and absolutely nothing else. So that means shrinker sock goes straight over the top when it arrives, and the purpose of a shrinker sock is to shape the leg to be able to fit a prosthetic, so it needs to be narrower at the bottom. The moment it's the same diameter as my other leg, I measured it. So that means the swelling has come down and it's back to being its normal size. But yeah, it needs to be slightly narrower so it will fit into the cast socket of a prosthetic leg. So what that means is that now there's nothing covering the end. I've had to staple the trousers. What it also means is I've got a lot more sensation. And oh my God, it's confusing the life out of me, because this feels like the back of my leg because the calf is wrapped around. Now I know this, but there's a number of times today it's caught me out. I've brushed against the edge of something here and I keep thinking there's something behind me, and it's not. It's the back of my leg is now the front of my leg. So I'm not sure how long I'm going to take to get used to that, but it's all just a wee bit weird. So then what happened next? We went to my house. How about that for an exciting development? So the occupational therapist took us to the house to assess the house for accessibility. So that meant I had to get into a car. Well, man, that was weird. Getting into a car wasn't weird, but sitting there with your feet on the floor, well, should I say foot on the floor, and the other one just hanging down and not really touching the floor was all just a bit odd. Also discovered that some of the potholes and puddles on my drive aren't very wheelchair accessible. But anyway, we were looking into ways to fix that. So then we go into the house. So we haven't got a ramp at the moment. So they were problem solving how they might get me home whilst they put one in. And they've given me a walking frame. There it is there. And I only agreed to use it to get me into the house whilst they build a ramp. Because, well, if you know me, you'll know what I think about walking frames. So that was my only thing, was I going to use it to get up the 2 steps into the house so that I could go home and not have to stay here. We also then took the wheelchair around the house to check the door frame widths. Some of them are pretty slim, and I have to take my hands off the rims of the wheels and push myself through the door frames like this. But I got round all of the house except for one of the bathrooms, which I expected to be a problem. But that's all right, I can get into the other one. We did bed, sofa, toilet and shower transfers and figured them all out, and they're all just fine. We went in this house, up the steps and down the steps, and that was fine. She's measured the front steps for a temporary ramp, and that will take a week or so to put in. And then I'll be able to get out and into the house on my own accord. At the moment, I have to use the walker and somebody has to carry the wheelchair in. So that was the compromise. If it means I get out of here faster, I'm happy to do that. Then I came back and, well, all hell had broken loose. So I'm not really sure what is going on just now, but apparently they think I need an infusion. I think there's a mistake has been made. I think they've gotten a bit muddled up because from what I read from this, I think they think I'm in chronic pain. And I'm actually not. I've got no pain at all most of the time. I've just got a little bit of pins and needles every now and again. But that's really it. So we're going to have that conversation tomorrow morning. If I win the argument, then I get to go home tomorrow. I get to go home tomorrow. How about that? If not, I have to stay here for 3 more days. But the most exciting thing of all is this. I've got an appointment at the limb centre. Now, I asked what happens in the first appointment, and they cast my leg for the first prosthetic. Now, look at this date. It is Monday, the 16th of November. That is a month from now. How exciting is that? So I might be walking on a prosthetic by the end of November. I can't believe that is even going to be possible. I am so excited. I thought it would be the other side of January, maybe even February. So if I'm standing on a prosthetic before Christmas, I will be so damned stoked. There won't be any words for it. So I've had a pretty good day today. There's just the whole infusion thing we've got to sort out tomorrow. Hopefully that gets ironed out and I get to go home tomorrow. If so, that'll be pretty freaking amazing because that will be less than 2 weeks post-amputation. So, although there's not many videos today, I'm full of excitement and I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow.